Have you ever witnessed an act of kindness so unexpected that it completely transforms a moment and leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew about people? Picture a busy city afternoon, where the hum of traffic and the chatter of pedestrians fill the air, and an unlikely hero steps forward in a way that no one could have predicted. This is the story of Barron Trump, a young man known more for his famous lineage than for his personal actions, who, on one ordinary day, defied expectations and showed the true meaning of compassion. It was a bright, bustling afternoon in downtown New York City. The streets were alive with energy, street vendors calling out their wares, office workers hurrying along the sidewalks, and the occasional musician or artist adding a splash of color to the urban landscape. Amid the urban chaos, a small crowd had gathered near a busy intersection. There, on a makeshift stage beside the sidewalk, a street performer was captivating passers-by with an impassioned rendition of a soulful blues number. His voice, raw and heartfelt, filled the air with a melody that resonated with anyone who cared to listen. He was dressed in tattered clothes, his face etched with the stories of hardship, yet his eyes shone with an unyielding spark of hope. The performer's small setup, a battered guitar, a weathered open case for tips, and a few personal trinkets spoke of a life lived on the margins. Yet his performance carried a weight of genuine emotion that touched the hearts of the few who paused to listen. Among those onlookers was Barron Trump, casually dressed in a smart, understated outfit that hinted at his privileged background but also conveyed an air of calm determination. Unbeknownst to many, Barron had been spending the day away from the usual glare of media attention, simply exploring the city and observing its vibrant tapestry of life. As the performer poured his soul into the song, a sudden commotion erupted a few feet away. A well-dressed man, identified as a local businessman, had been hurling dismissive remarks at the performer, accusing him of being a distraction and an unworthy use of public space. His tone was condescending, his words laced with prejudice. "This isn't art, it's just noise. Get off the street and leave the real talent to those who matter," he shouted, provoking angry glances and murmurs from the crowd. The air grew tense as some bystanders attempted to interject in support of the performer, but the situation escalated quickly. In that charged moment, Barron stepped forward. The young man's face, usually calm and reserved, hardened with resolve as he approached the businessman. Without preamble, he interjected in a firm yet measured tone, "Sir, every person has a right to express themselves. What you call noise is the voice of someone fighting to be heard." His words cut through the tension, like a clarion call for decency and respect. The businessman paused, momentarily taken aback by the unexpected intervention, and for a heartbeat, the bustling noise of the street seemed to quiet down as all eyes turned to Barron. The street performer, his guitar still cradled in calloused hands, glanced up with a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. The bystanders, who had been on the brink of a heated argument, now watched in awe as Barron continued. "Art isn't defined by wealth or by the status you carry," he said, his voice rising with passionate intensity. "It's defined by the emotion it stirs, by the stories it tells, and by the courage to stand in the open, even when the world tries to silence you." The words resonated deeply, shifting the mood from one of confrontation to one of introspection and unity. The businessman, now visibly flustered and losing his composure, attempted to retort, but his voice faltered as Barron's unwavering gaze met his. "I suggest you listen before you speak," Barron added coolly, "and maybe learn something about the strength it takes to express what many are too afraid to admit. With that, the businessman mumbled an incoherent reply and hastily retreated, leaving the crowd in a state of stunned silence, followed by a crescendo of applause. The scene that followed was nothing short of extraordinary. The street performer, bolstered by Barron's support, resumed his performance with even greater fervor. His music, now imbued with a new sense of purpose, soared over the crowd as people began to clap and cheer, their voices blending into a single, uplifting chorus. Bystanders pulled out their phones to capture the moment, and within minutes, clips of Barron's intervention and the impassioned performance were trending on social media. Hashtags celebrating compassion and courage, like "Your Voice of the Streets" and "Barron Cares," began to circulate widely, turning a local street incident into a nationwide symbol of hope. In the days that followed, news outlets and online commentators dissected the incident. Analysts debated whether Barron's actions were merely a fleeting moment of youthful bravado or a genuine turning point in public discourse about art, freedom of expression, and respect for all walks of life. The story resonated particularly with those who had long felt marginalized by a society that often favored conformity over authenticity. In interviews with community leaders and cultural critics, Barron was hailed as a refreshing force, a reminder that kindness and standing up for what is right can emerge from the most unexpected sources. One particularly moving interview featured the street performer himself, who, still in awe of what had transpired, shared, "I've been singing on these streets for years, and I've seen many faces come and go. But today, a young man reminded everyone that art is the heartbeat of our society. He didn't just defend me, he defended every person who dares to dream." His words, sincere and full of emotion, underscored the transformative impact of that moment. At a local community forum held shortly thereafter, residents recounted the incident with fervor. "It wasn't just about the music," one attendee recalled. "It was about a call to action, to stand up against those who would diminish the voices of the underrepresented." Barron's words echoed in our hearts long after the debate ended. Another added, "We need more people like him, who see beyond the surface and appreciate the beauty of diversity." The forum ended with a unanimous decision to organize a series of community events focused on celebrating local talent and fostering dialogue on social issues, a direct response to the spark ignited that day. As the story continued to unfold, Barron himself reflected on the incident in a series of social media posts and short video clips. "Every act of kindness matters," he wrote, "and sometimes it takes one moment to remind us all that our differences are our strengths." I was moved by the performer's music and inspired by the resilience of everyone who was there. His thoughtful reflections helped further humanize the moment and encourage others to act with empathy and courage in their daily lives. Soon, the incident began to influence broader conversations about the role of art and public spaces in our communities. Cultural institutions and advocacy groups cited the event as a case study in how spontaneous acts of solidarity can challenge societal norms and create lasting change. Universities invited speakers to discuss the intersection of art, protest, and social justice, and community leaders used the story as a rallying cry to support local artists and marginalized voices. The legacy of that day extended beyond immediate media buzz. It sparked a movement among young people and community organizers who believed in the power of art to bridge divides and foster understanding. Volunteers began to collect stories from street performers across the city, compiling a digital archive of voices that had long been overlooked. The archive, titled Voices Unheard, became a powerful repository of personal narratives, each story a testament to the resilience and creativity that thrives in the margins of society. For Barron, what started as a chance encounter on a busy city street evolved into a personal mission. He began collaborating with local arts organizations to create platforms where underrepresented talent could shine. His involvement wasn't limited to public appearances. He dedicated time to mentoring young artists and even organized small, intimate performances where the community could come together and celebrate their shared heritage and aspirations. His initiatives were met with overwhelming support, drawing praise from influential figures and grassroots activists alike. In a candid conversation with a renowned cultural critic, Barron explained, "Art is not just about aesthetics, it's about expression and connection. When you see someone pouring their heart out on the streets, you're witnessing a raw and powerful form of communication. I wanted to make sure that person's voice was heard, not silenced by judgment." His words resonated deeply, further solidifying his reputation as not only a public figure from a famous family, but as a genuine advocate for social change. As weeks turned into months, the impact of that fateful afternoon continued to ripple through the community and beyond. Local news segments revisited the story, highlighting how one act of kindness had led to tangible improvements in the support systems for street performers and artists. The city's mayor even acknowledged the incident during a press conference, emphasizing the importance of compassion and community solidarity in times of social division. Critics, too, were forced to re-evaluate their views. Some who had once dismissed the importance of street art or the contributions of those living on the fringes of society found themselves reconsidering the value of every human expression. Conversations about the role of privilege, the importance of empathy, and of individual actions dominated public discourse. In the midst of these discussions, the story of that busy afternoon became a symbol of hope and resilience, a reminder that even in a world rife with challenges and inequalities, a single moment of courage can spark a movement that changes lives. In the end, the episode was more than just a fleeting moment on live television. It was a call to action, an invitation to see beyond labels and stereotypes, and a testament to the enduring power of kindness. Barron Trump's unexpected act of defending a street performer not only left bystanders in awe, but also redefined what it means to stand up for justice and humanity. It showed that true leadership is not measured by wealth or lineage, but by the courage to listen, to act, and to uplift those whose voices might otherwise be drowned out by the noise of indifference. The memory of that day remains etched in the hearts of those who witnessed it, a powerful reminder that every act of compassion has the potential to ignite change. It is a story that will be told for years to come, a narrative of unexpected heroism, of a young man who chose empathy over apathy, and of a community that rose together to celebrate the power of art, truth, and unity. In a world where divisive voices often dominate the conversation, that single moment of kindness shone as a beacon of hope, urging us all to believe in the transformative power of a compassionate heart. So, when you look back on that day, remember it as more than just an incident on a city street. See it as a turning point, a moment when the barriers between people crumbled under the weight of genuine human connection, and when one act of kindness inspired a collective cry for a better, more inclusive future. And ask yourself, what can you do today to make someone feel seen, heard, and valued? Because sometimes all it takes is one brave act to change the world.